You know, in the world of artificial intelligence, there are warnings, and then there are alarms. What you're about to see is the exact moment the final alarm bell was rung, and it was rung by the very people who built the system. Okay, just look at this. Two of the top AI researchers on the planet. Two absolutely terrifying posts, and they go up just 24 hours apart. What happens next? They both quit their jobs. Now, this wasn't just a resignation, it was a flare in the dark. It was a signal. It was the start of a countdown. So this is it. This is the moment everything changed. The moment that kicked off a full-blown crisis in the world of AI. But really, it's the final chapter of a story that's been building for over half a century. So you have to be asking, what does this actually mean? Why would they just walk away? Well, to really get why this moment matters, why these two messages sent such massive shockwaves through the industry, we need to go back, way back, 61 years earlier to be exact. That's right, we're rewinding the clock all the way to 1965. We need to talk about a mathematician named I.J. Good and a foundational warning he gave to the world. A warning that has, honestly, been echoing through the decades and has now come roaring into our present. This quote right here, this is the whole thing in a nutshell. It's the core of I.J. Good's warning. He laid out a concept he called the intelligence explosion. And he wasn't just predicting, faster computers. He was predicting a fundamental shift in what intelligence even means on planet Earth. So first, he defined the player in this game, an ultra-intelligent machine. We're not talking about something that's just good at chess or math. No, this is a machine that can outthink any human in any field, and that includes the field of designing even better machines. And then he described the event, the intelligence explosion itself. Think about it. Once a machine is smart enough to improve its own intelligence, it will. And that new, improved version, it'll be even better at improving itself. It creates this exponential, runaway chain reaction that leaves humanity far, far behind in the dust. And here's the engine for it all. The technical term is recursive self-improvement, or RSI. Each cycle just feeds the next one, getting faster and more powerful every single time. You need to remember that term, RSI. It's what makes the whole thing go. But here's the most important part. The whole thing hinges on a single word in his quote. This is only the last invention we'll need to make. This is only safe, provided we can control it. And that control has to be built before the explosion starts. There's no hitting the brakes once it's begun. You don't get a second chance. For 60 years, the smartest people in the field tried to build those controls. I want you to think of them like a line of dominoes. Our defenses against this explosion. We're about to watch them fall, one by one, in this catastrophic chain reaction of failures. And this whole chain reaction, this failure to build the controls we need, it all starts with the fall of the very first domino. Back in July 2023, OpenAI launched its super alignment team. This was a big deal, a well-funded, 4-year plan to solve AI safety before it was too late. This was supposed to be our strongest defense. Just 4 months later, bam, the second domino falls. The OpenAI board, which included the safety expert and super alignment co-lead Ilya Sutskever, fires the CEO. Well, the company basically revolts. The CEO is brought back, but Sutskever gets pushed to the side. So in the big fight between safety and shiny new products, product won, hands down. Then, by May 2024, the third and fourth dominoes fall almost on top of each other. First, Ilya Sutskever officially resigns. Then, just days later, his co-lead, Jan Leek, follows him out the door, leaving behind this absolute bombshell of a quote. Just like that, the super alignment team, only 10 months into its 4-year mission, was dissolved, gone. And the fallout was immediate, and it was severe. Just look at this. In the next 8 months, about half of the remaining AGI safety researchers at OpenAI just left. This wasn't just a few people getting new jobs. This was a brain drain, a mass exodus of the very people whose job it was to keep AI safe. But the collapse starts to spread. Domino 5 falls in February 2026. This time, it's the safety lead at Anthropic. Now, you have to understand Anthropic was the lab founded by ex-OpenAI people specifically to prioritize safety. And even he resigned, saying they constantly face pressures to set aside what matters most. This proved the problem wasn't just one company. It was the entire industry. There was no safe harbor. Now, watch what happens in the next 24 hours. The sixth domino. A co-founder from a third major lab quits. But this time, he adds something new, something absolutely terrifying, a deadline. So let's go back to where we started, February 9th and 10th, 2026. Because now, with all these dominoes having fallen, those two posts look very, very different. When you first saw these, they probably looked like two separate dramatic events. But now you know what you're actually looking at. You are seeing the final moments of a long, failed experiment in letting these companies regulate themselves. It's really the three threads of this entire story all coming together at once. You've got IJ Good's 60-year-old warning that safety has to come first. You've got Charm's confirmation from the inside that all our institutional safeguards have failed. And then, you've got Barr. And what's he doing? Starting the clock on the exact event Good warned us about all those years ago. And this, right here, this is the main takeaway. The abstract, the far-off, theoretical warning from 1965 has just become a concrete one-year timeline. And it was announced by the people on the front lines. The luxury of having time to figure this out, it's just gone. So where does that leave us? Right now, with the clock ticking down from 12 months, what does the state of our defenses even look like? Well, it's not good. The key defenses we built are either depleted or totally gone. OpenAI's safety team is a ghost of what it was. Anthropic's safety lead is out. Half of xAI's original founding team has already left. The dominoes have all fallen. Which brings us all the way back to the single most important part of IJ Good's warning. That one critical condition. The one non-negotiable requirement for this whole massive endeavor to end well for us. You know, IJ Good gave us 60 years to prepare. And now the very people building these systems are telling us, screaming at us really, that our time is up. The seventh domino is time itself, and we're about to find out what happens when it falls.